Lovely to be back again. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Today we're going to talk about the topic You Are Not Alone.
Yes, you are not alone. And isn't that the truth? It
Yes.
truly is the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's such a, I feel like this is could be a course, right?
Yes. Today we'll just be scratching the surface, just the
Right.
tip of that iceberg. But, hopefully we'll have more of these chats where we can really integrate it more fully. But I think whoever is listening, and I can see that there are a few right now coming on, and maybe so that later there'll be more watching. And this is actually an important topic right now. I feel more so because we're all reaching a point in our lives where something seems to be lurking in the distance, and we just don't know what it is. I see this time and time again when I've done my talks or on my global Zoom platforms, or when I work with one-on-one clients. There's seeming to be like some sort of a yearning, I don't know, and that yearning is there for many people.
Hmm.
They just don't know what it is and where is it coming from. And um, we're all sort of moving, all of us, this as a consciousness, all of us, we are moving towards something beyond what we've been doing all this time. And that growth is happening, but in that growth sometimes we feel very isolated and lonely
Hmm.
from the rest of the people, because maybe in every family there might be just one person or two people who are wanting to break away from the old conditioning and old patterns of our minds.
Hmm.
And it could make them feel very lost, as they're rising. And so this topic is all about that, is all about, if you have been experiencing that, then you're not alone. And we'll talk more about why that is.
Hmm. No, are you hearing this more in your sessions, in your healing sessions with people?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Definitely hearing it in sessions, um, where they feel like, so these are the kinds of things that are happening clearly. Um, they feel like they're moving somewhere, but
Hmm.
as they're moving up, as if they're ascending, spiritually ascending, and they feel like the people that used to be, those that used to be quote unquote their friends, are sort of moving away.
Hmm.
They're not having any disagreements with them, but they're just simply moving a different direction. They're moving away. Or it could be that they sometimes feel within themselves even things that they did before, and they did it with great enthusiasm. Now, as they are shifting, those same things are not seeming to be as valuable to them.
Hmm.
And then they're moving away from that as well. So slowly, there's been this sort of movement away from who they were. But at that point in time, when they're going through that experience, when they're going through that time, they feel like something is wrong with them.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then they ask, is something wrong with me? Why are people just like just leaving me?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about that later as to why that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a few thoughts on, but we have a question first.
Yeah.
Um, from Mike, Monica, you're right. Few of us like to be alone all of the time. Why do you think this is part of being human? When do we really need each other?
That's a great question. So when do we need? So yes, so there's definitely a balance in when we need to be around one another and when we can be by ourselves. So the way I describe it to clients is that, and others that I speak to, is that we can actually deepen our relationships that we have with one another. Say you're married, or you have a significant other, or your child, or your mother, or your father, or whomever, whatever that um, dynamic of the relationship might be. What we're seeing is that those that are fully engaged in spiritual growth, their own personal growth, and becoming more aware, these are the people that have the best relationships with others. Why? Is because they are learning to understand themselves
Hmm.
better. The more you know yourself, the more you're able to understand others. We cannot understand other people if we don't understand ourselves to the fullest potential. So, to answer your question, Michael, um, we need people as well. We don't have to always be isolated, but there comes a time, though, when you're in the spiritual growth, people will choose time alone, at least some portion of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what must you do during that time is that you breathe by yourself, sit out in nature, be around plants, around water, with an animal. Talked about that earlier. And it really does something special, which it opens up our heart when we're by ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and away from by ourselves. But the caveat is without electronics, without computer, without phones, without TV going on in the background, without reading a book as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by absolute quiet.
Yeah.
And it's deep, bringing our awareness within and just going off, zoning out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel out of balance if I don't have enough of me time.
Yes, we all need that me time more so than we may understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, well, I have quiet time. I mean, I'm alone by myself many times, but they're either listening to music or they have podcast on, and that doesn't count. You really have to be quiet, quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Totally. And still in stillness maybe, right? Like in
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Total stillness. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we've got some people coming in, so pop us a question in the chat. So Monica, you said you wanted to talk a little bit more about, why it's so important and why when people are going through a shift or and they are breaking away from like old relationships and it can feel very isolating. But do you think that's because the other people maybe are just don't feel you the same way? They're noticing the shift, whether it's good or bad.
Hmm. Yeah. So when we are on that spiritual ascension, typically, it's also known as we are awakening. Have you heard people say that there is an awakening happening? The awakening is happening, and you'll see this across boards. Right now, I'm seeing it, in many strata, many places in our world, not just in the United States, but literally all over the world. I'm seeing this happening, and this awakening meaning what are they awakening from, or what is this awakening actually? In simple words, really, it means that most people, have been, quote unquote, in deep slumber, sleeping. Because when we come on this earth, when we're born, it's like the previous lifetimes that we've ever led, or anything that has come before that time frame, right? It's washed away. It's almost like it's cleaned. The slate is cleaned out. And we don't know who we are. And the way that I describe this is that we are in this world, and this world is akin to a ongoing school. It's an ongoing school we're in. No matter where we are, somebody may be a little bit higher, somebody may be here, but no matter where we may be, that growth doesn't ever stop.
Mm-hmm.
And in that growth and through that growth, the growth is all about finding the truth, right? And now you may be wondering, what is that truth? And we don't want to give it away quickly, because
Mm-hmm.
the beauty is in each of you discovering that. And by through the inner work that we do, you will be able to sort of see more things that are hidden, and they will start to come open. And the more you become aware of what is opening up, then you live life from that level.
Mm-hmm.
And as each person is going up through that rung of the ladder, rising up, 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 those people that you hung out with before, or you interacted with before at that time, prior to that time, they cannot see you, they cannot understand you, because now the frequency has shifted. They're on a different frequency
Mm-hmm.
from where you are ascending. your ascension is happening, maybe rapidly, maybe it's slow, it doesn't matter, so long as it's happening. And
Mhm.
in that happening, what happens is those people that are vibrating at that level, lower level, doesn't mean that they are not going to catch up. They will catch up, but not at that time. That's why the people that are rising feel lonely at that time, but they're not really lonely. And this is why this conversation is important to have, is that even if they quote unquote feel lonely, you are really not lonely. But the key is to find that out, is how to deepen that connection with something,
Yeah.
which is what we're talking about.
I've heard it called the zero point or the void as well.
Mhm.
You know, it's just this vast space that you have to create from.
Yes, but it also exists. You may have to create, or you may have to come to it,
Hmm.
but it exists around everybody. Just the other day, I was talking to a client and mentioning to her that, if you go to a waterfall, a beautiful waterfall, could be any waterfall, and you're standing right next to it, or you're standing into it, maybe. And let's say you have an empty glass, and you keep it open, with it facing upward. Some of the water will go into it. It'll be in a cup or a glass.
Hmm.
Let's say then you say that, okay, there's a pool of water, there's an empty space, large vast space where it used to have water but now it doesn't, and the waterfall starts coming down quickly and it fills up that pool of water that is a little bigger space than the glass. And then if you have a ocean right there, a space that is deep in the trenches, and the waterfall keeps filling that space, it's kind of like that. Or it could be that I'm standing there, but I'm, my I'm not looking at it either, but I'm faced against it.
Hmm.
So water is always available. It's how much we are able to receive. That is the question. This divine energy is like that. It exists all the time. It's not something we have to create. It already is there. It's all about how much are we open to receiving that wisdom that is coming through. And the way we get to that wisdom and to open ourselves up to receiving it, is dependent upon how ready are we in that spiritual ascension. That is the place where most people come, is that they're very curious.
Hmm.
And it's a long journey, but it's a beautiful one. Having personally gone through it from my time of my near death experience and returning back and being in isolation for quite a while, absolute isolation, no visitors. And through those moments, I was able to reconnect with that divine light that I experienced out of the body. And I brought that light with me. And through that energy, now I'm able to work with others, because that same guidance that came to me, that helped me heal 100%, now it serves as a guide for others. This energy keeps constantly
Hmm.
sharing these beautiful nuggets that helps other people too, in that opening, in that awakening process, that is.
Yeah, Michael has one more question. Tell us about how ego affects our ability to receive spiritual energy.
Oh, that is an excellent question. And I know this is one that everybody can relate to as well. So, as I describe this, ego is a part of our mind. It's sort of like the mind is important, but it's like a bifurcation. It shifts us from where we have to go, and it takes us in a detour. It's almost like a detour, and this detour leads us down paths that are not really for our highest good. And what the ego can do is that it keeps it the job of the ego is really to ensure that we as humans are um, filled with fear and anxiety and worries and doubt, self doubt, shame, guilt, resentment. It seeks control over us. There's always a tussle between the ego and the soul.
Mm-hmm.
The ego always wants to come on top and try to suppress us, suppress the soul from emerging, because the soul is part of each one. You know, we look like we have our bodies, but the soul is actually the bigger part of the body is just there.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that the ego has made us feel is that the body is the most important part of our existence. If you remember, or if you know from life generally, looking at life generally, is everybody is working so hard on beautifying the body, making the body very thin and being this way and that way, and eating right. I'm not saying that's not important, it is, but it's not the most important. Sometimes these other things are far more important. Spiritual energy exists everywhere. It's not something that is just, available to just Monica or somebody else. It's available for everybody. Just like the example I gave earlier about the waterfall, the the concept of water. But let's say it exists space. And you talked about the 0 point earlier. Space, it's just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that energy is everywhere. It's also into our, into our, so the atoms are atoms that make up our body, the atoms and molecules and every smallest divisions of living matter, stones and lakes and water and trees, and it exists everywhere. It exists, it's vibrating energy that exists everywhere. And but it's in the best interest of the ego to make us not be fully be a recipient of that. So it's so important when we do this work, when we're guiding others to kind of move in this direction, we're always working on how to not suppress the ego, not
Yeah.
push it away, but to work with it,
Mm-hmm.
to the degree that we don't pay attention to what thoughts are coming. Many times people think that they're receiving guidance, but it's not. It's untrue. It's not truth. It's untrue guidance that is leading us astray.
Mm-hmm.
So the ego does that. It really affects our ability to receive spiritual energy. So we
Yes.
literally have to shut our minds down temporarily. I'm not going to say that it's forever shut down, just
Mm-hmm.
so much as that we can shift away our focus from the mind and the ego part of the mind into the heart, where also um, where the soul sort of is waiting to break free and become more central to
Yeah.
us. Make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Good questions. Thank you. These are
Yeah.
great questions.
I know.
Anybody else? Anybody else wants to ask questions? Would love to hear and would love to answer. If we can, if we don't have the answer, we will check in and give you something. But
Yeah. I know. I've been through so many unusual experiences in my life. I think I've been alone, as in different ways of being, but I don't feel alone anymore.
yeah, yeah.
If you looked at me from the outside, you could say, "Gosh, she lives alone." And that actually might be sad, but I don't feel alone ever.
Don't feel alone. Yeah. Why is that? Why don't you feel alone?
I don't know. I feel like we're always tethered to the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and
What are some of the ways in which you feel that presence?
oh gosh, I mean, I have so the more and more people that go over there, the less, I feel like. Wait, someone said it to me that you have to ask, right? You have to ask for them for their interaction or their even though they're around. And I think you have to believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you say them, who are you referring to?
Oh, all of my relatives that have passed.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. So that's another way for us to understand. Then I guess that's what you're saying, is that we're not alone in that way, because our ancestors and our loved ones that have gone there before us, they are still very much here. They're just not visible to us through our naked eyes, but
Yeah.
they're very much here. It's like they've moved into a different room and
Yes.
in a different energy space, but we still can feel their presence, and we know that they exist beyond this physical realm. Very true.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, what we are also talking about is some higher energy that connects us all, that is has this I oftentimes don't like to use the word power because power has such other, it's used in such ways these days that may not be very fitting. But let's say this energy is so amazing and it ties everybody together. And specifically in my near death experience as well, um, as the soul ejected, from the confines of the body and it was sent into the white light space, the beings that were there, these beings were not just, my departed family members that have gone on before us, but it was more than that. It was this absolutely reverberating, loving light, um, high vibrating energy, very, very beautiful. And it's almost like a supreme being, if I may say that, is a supreme being, and it doesn't have a humanistic um, connection to it. At
Mhm.
least that's how I understood it. Is just light and just energy and power in that, and unconditional love, and everything was coming into this one seed, one little seed through which everything was coming out, and all the things that we were also, connecting to in our physical existence, like the plants and the trees and the animals and the birds and the insects and human beings, of course. Everything, all those energies are sort of moving into this, you know this one space. And that is what we understand, is there is a thread, or maybe a large expansive space that connects to everybody. And our job, I believe, on this earth is truly about reconnecting with that
Mhm.
energy.
Yeah.
Do you feel
And
people
people can
sensing that?
call it many things, right? You can call it
Yes,
force or God
of
or
course.
Christ consciousness or, I mean, you
Divine
name it,
energy.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes with so many different names. And
Mhm.
every, every culture has their own ways of, feeling it, sensing it.
Mhm.
Um, but when we do this kind of work, what it does is it really, really elevates that connection. It
Mhm.
truly elevates the connection because, you know, as I was going through it myself, my connection with the divine was just so powerfully present every time. It's always present and it always gives the right message in every situation. It doesn't ever lead me astray. That's when you know it's not the ego, right?
Yeah.
The ego will lead you astray, but not this. Because it'll give you messages when the logical mind may not see it and may refute it. But I've learned how to constantly listen to it. And for me, actually, it started off in my childhood. I've always been highly intuitive, even as a infant, and always listened to it. And so it comes very naturally. But
Mhm.
I think for a lot of people also feel it and sense it, but they don't know how to listen to it because they tend to second guess it.
Yeah.
So
But I feel like there's a tempo difference between the ego and then what I can describe as my intuition or my higher self. I mean,
yeah,
when I get in a stillness space, it's pure. There's something
yeah,
that's just pure and right.
yeah,
But the ego is like kind of, I feel like when it's fast and jarring.
yeah. It's
So
like a knee jerk. You feel like
that's
you're,
how I take
yeah.
the temperature,
It's a
you know.
knee. It's like a knee jerk reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of like,
or anger just spurs up. You may just get very upset or angry or hurt, or all of that could be that. All is coming from a state of ego, but everything else would be coming from a peaceful state.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of important to, to know the difference.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, yes. But there are ways in which we can connect to that energy. A lot of it is about ourselves and knowing ourselves, and that's why we started the conversation about awareness and self-awareness. That awareness is critical for us because if we don't have that awareness and we don't deepen that awareness within ourselves, it's a long journey. But if we
Mm.
don't, deepen that connection with ourselves, it makes it difficult for us to listen to anything outside of that space.
No, yeah.
I
We have
get
another
that question.
one. Monica, it's G. There have been many times when I have been amazed by the precision of divine energies, knowing and your messages, yet I lose sight and feel alone at times. Is that also my ego?
Okay, so thank you, G, for asking this question. Um, when you feel alone, so are you asking, is that if you feel alone, is that your ego telling you that you're alone? Kind of, yes, because it feels threatened, because the ego feels threatened that you're heading a different direction. And it's feeling as if it is losing its control on you. So, yes, in a sense, it is coming from your ego. Um, but could you speak a little bit about, or could you share with us uh, when you are talking about the divine energy's precision? Could you give us a couple of examples where you've sensed that?
Yeah, we'll see if she will chime in.
Yeah, yeah.
But is that how you would describe it as precision, Monica?
Precision. Well, the precision is um, when when we channel, when Monica channels, and she's able to come with some specific messages for people. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody she's necessarily working with at the time. It could be people she's not working with or hasn't worked with, but perhaps um, just a message just comes through when there's no talk about that person at all, just randomly shows up. So then what we've done is energies will say, reach out to this person and say this,
Mm-hmm.
say this. So I've learned not to ever dismiss it, to pay attention. And
Mm-hmm.
every single time when I've paid attention and said something, then, that person will respond back and say, oh my gosh, this was exactly what was happening, or I was about to text you to ask you about this, but you already know the answer. That's, I think, is this what you were talking about, G?
She
The
said,
precision.
I think she said, oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So that is it. So it's just that that is the precision in which the messages come through. It's so correct every single time. And so that is, again, the connection to the energy that we just talked about, is that connection we all can develop. That is what we're here to say today, is it is there and everybody has that ability, but we have to develop that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sooner we are able to connect to that energy, the more you recognize that you are really and truly never alone,
Yeah. She says,
right?
a time when I feel alone is a Sunday evening. It was a moment of deep fear after a decision Pat comes. It, you were not alone. Okay.
That comes
So
that comes Monica's message. Okay,
you're
you
not
are
alone.
not alone. Yeah. So that's right. So basically, what I think she's saying is that um, she's feeling lonely, and then I'm asked to reach out to her
Mm-hmm.
quickly, and that's when I guess I say that, and she's feeling it at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and and
She,
and
she
okay,
is more. Yeah.
and yeah, and she's writing more, but it's what I guess she's referring to is how um, at that moment when she needs something,
Mm-hmm.
um, energies will say, now reach out to her and say this. And it answers her question, what is deeply hurting her, or she's at a loss, or then she feels, yes, you are not alone. She's not alone because the energies are listening. And because I'm the conduit, it comes through like that, and she's able to hear it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that is also telling her, not just telling me,
Mm-hmm.
being a channel, but telling her too that she's not alone.
Mm-hmm.
which is the truth. Nobody's alone, really. None of us are alone.
No, and
And
if we knew that we were never alone,
yeah,
then it would just take so much off our plates, you know? That's the way I
take
feel
so much
about
off our
it.
plates. And
Yeah.
as we said, many times, we go through this life experience, and we carry a lot of weight. We carry a lot of pain and grief and all of these other things we're carrying with us, right? And we feel like, well, we can't say to our parents because they are already dealing with so much, and we don't want to dump our stuff on them, and we can't share it with the friends because they are going through their own stuff, and we seem to be carrying so much. But here, I think what we can understand from this conversation today, I hope you understand how much you're supported. You're not
Mhm.
only alone, you're not only not alone, but you're also supported. This energy supports everybody, whether you recognize its presence or not. It is there. It's like electricity. You know, we may not consciously be aware that there is some electricity running through the house, but we only may know that is when we flip the switch on and the
Mhm.
light bulb kicks up. That's when we know it's there. But most times we live life not even being aware of the electricity, right? And this divine energy is kind of like that. Most people don't even recognize its availability, that it's right there.
Mhm.
It's like the waterfall example, it's right there. But we can only actually feel it is when we open ourselves to receiving it. It's all about receiving. It's all
Mhm.
about opening up. Another example I've given is about how we look at a old camera that we've had before, an SLR 35 camera that we used before we had our cell phones, right? Um, we had the aperture, how we would, open that aperture a little bit to let light come in. We are like that, exactly like that. Just the same example is that the more we open that aperture, we allow the light to come into that object. We are like that. We are that object. you know we have to allow that light to come in. If we are shut down, most people are shut down. If they are shut down, they're not going to receive it. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It exists. It's just that
Yeah.
it's all dependent upon our readiness. How ready are we? How open are we? Right?
Mhm.
So that is what we do in our work, is about helping everybody to start opening that aperture so that you can receive that light. And as the light comes in, we can shed that weight that we're carrying. And what it does in our sessions is it suctions it out. It pulls it out. It sucks it out, and it rebalances it. It's that beautiful. So it goes beyond just what is happening on the physical body level. Most people think, oh, healing is referring to physical illness. Maybe, maybe not.
It can be, yeah.
Maybe not.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She said exactly, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your great question.
Mhm.
Yeah. And response as well. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah. I just look at it more in a more I know it sounds so, trite, but like metaphysical um lens, not so 3D.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And yes, definitely. I mean, everybody knows, so our souls have been already, in and through that space. It's just been shut down. The conditionings have, closed up that opening, basically. So what we are doing is we're just opening it up. So your soul already knows of this existence. It understands it. It came from that, right? We've come from the divine, right?
Yeah.
It's already there. That presence, it already recognizes it. That imprint is already in it.
Right. I mean,
But
you're
the
tethered to
yeah,
it, right? I mean, you can't, it's really inseparable. I mean, you can't really separate from it,
you
right?
cannot separate it. But a lot of people, over time frames, over timelines rather, there has been the separation
Mm-hmm.
over timelines. And therefore, most people don't, believe it, because the ego comes in the way and says, no, that doesn't exist, because it's in the ego's best interest to keep you always in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So light is already there. It just been shut down. because the ego shuts that down. So it's, it's a long ongoing process. Is how do we really move that out of the way, move that part or out of the way, so that we can really, really embrace what we are, who we are. We already are that. We're
Mhm.
not becoming something else. We just are. We just are recognizing that we are. That's
Mhm.
part of our journey, is to recognize it and to know it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is being talked about more, don't you think? Just in
Yes.
general.
Right now, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
At this point, and with this today, this year, not just today, but this year, is all about that rapid growth. And a lot of people are ready. You'll be surprised. So
Hmm.
many people are ready. They're yearning. They're actually yearning for something, because the way that life has been, I don't think people are really and truly happy. They may have a lot of wealth and everything else, but the deep, deep feeling within, of a calmness and joy,
Hmm.
I don't think they're actually feeling it, but they want it, which is
Hmm.
a good positive step
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
may lead them in this direction. That this is the only field, this is the only part of life that can actually transform somebody. If you go this way, and you can actually feel the peace and the joy and the bliss to the nth degree when you're really completely indulged into this. You're completely, diving into it, leaning into it,
Yep.
hook, line, and sinker going in. That's what's needed. Yeah.
After the show, we get comments, so I get notifications, anybody who's commented after
Hmm.
we've been live, but a lot of people will say that they felt something after you do a meditation, a lot
Oh,
of meditation. Hmm.
really? Wow. Well,
Hmm.
then we are up for some meditation today. We can do that for
Some of
sure.
it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Maybe we
So,
can end on a with a meditation.
yes, we can do a 10-minute, 5-minute meditation at the end, towards the end, with
Because I think
towards
people
that.
really like that. They,
Yeah,
um, mhm,
that is lovely, because I think we need more reasons to find those quiet moments in our days,
mhm,
really. And we don't have to, do long, convoluted meditations. Simple breathing is enough.
mhm,
The breathing is enough, because it shifts you out of the outside and brings you inward, and it just brings you to a space of calmness.
mhm,
And in and through that calmness, when we are channeling, we're able to sort of, you know lift off the weights that you've been carrying. So
mhm.
many a times I'll joke and I'll say, I'm like the Molly maid, or I'm the cleaning lady.
That's a good one.
Those energies that you all as a collective, not just Wendy, you, that you are on this platform, and Michael and others, and Girija is here on the platform as well. I mean, and there's some others I know who are not really engaging, but I know you're listening at some point, and thank you for that. And there'll be some more that will be listening at a later point. Sometimes the energies already know those kinds of people that will show up later and listen. So yeah, you can all benefit from this short meditation that we'll do in just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. We can take some more
Yeah,
questions in the meantime.
if there are any.
It is kind of amazing. I do a specific, or I was trained in a specific type of healing,
Yeah.
um, working with the hands, Reiki.
Yes.
And,
Reiki. Yes.
I'll do it if someone asks, if someone
Yeah.
asks, I'll do it. So there was my mom's like friend growing up had, it's been a couple months and she has just been riddled with the doctors can't figure out. She was in the hospital. They sent her home. They couldn't figure it out. And so my mom said, well, Wendy, do you think do you think there's something I could tell her? And I said a few things, and I said, but I have a little table that it's 22 pounds. I carry it around. Ask, and she said, would you go over there? And I said, I'm happy to.
Wow.
So we went yesterday, and I just did 10 minutes on her, laid her on the table, and really, it's a different way that you do it, but I just become a vessel, and the
Yes.
energy works through. It goes and does what it does. I don't even have to
Yes.
ask.
Yeah.
It's just what it does. And she got up, and so I kind of bent down and I said, we're all done. And she looked at me and she grabbed my hands and she says, "Oh my God, thank you for your hands. Can you like you have magic hands or whatever she said." And she got up and her she had color in her face. Like when we first arrived, I said, "Oh my gosh," but
Mhm.
it was like she was back. Her
Yeah, vitality came back. Yes,
it was
yes,
like 10 minutes. It was
amazing.
and and she was kind of I felt like she was, kind of more upright. She had
Right.
anyway, so I don't even have to know what happened or
Yes.
sometimes I get something and sometimes I don't, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Reiki is wonderful. It really, really does, bring some shift in a person's body, and at least brings you to a state of calmness and relaxation. That's something, that is so important because so many people are so living in such stressful situations, and part of the pains we feel also in the body could be by the way that we are holding our, by the
yeah.
way we move, our gait, our how we are holding stress in certain parts of the body and just really not relaxing enough, not really finding that relaxation. So yes, what you're doing, what you did was amazing, and I'm sure she was so grateful to you
Oh,
for.
she was so
Yeah,
happy. She was like, "Oh my God." She said, "Can you just put your hands like
yeah, everywhere. Yes,
I think what it does too, it makes you feel there is a presence that is with you.
yes.
Um,
And they also feel heard, because a lot of people maybe, they don't get much time with other people. We talked about loneliness earlier, and sometimes, well, here's a question. The question is, if you're with 10 other people, can you still feel alone? Right? So she might have been with other people, but not everybody is always listening to you. Not
yeah.
everybody, a lot of people will tell me is that, I live in a family of 5 people and I'm always with friends, but I never feel heard. I don't feel like people are listening, actively
Mhm.
listening, you know.
Yeah.
They're listening to question or listening to give an answer, but not really, really listening, and I don't feel heard. It's sad, but a lot of people feel that way, that the loneliness can come from you being singularly alone, or you could be with so many other people and still feel alone, and that's the truth of the situation many times.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
but
Yeah, we probably got a little over 15 minutes. Do you want to do a meditation
yeah,
and
sure, I'd be
see if,
happy to.
and then see if anybody wants to kind of chime in about
Yeah,
after? Okay.
yes, absolutely. So let me well, because I close my eyes when I'm channeling, I'm just going to put a little bit of a timer here so I don't go overboard.
Okay. Or I can stop you. I usually keep my eyes open, just let
Okay.
run the
Okay.
show. But yeah,
Wonderful.
um,
Then you can just speak
yeah.
up. That's fine. Yeah, because I'll have to come out of it. So I know we've done this many a times on this platform, but I know that there are going to be more people listening that haven't heard us before.
Mhm.
So I'd like to begin by just giving a few instructions on what we need to do before we go deeper into it. First of all, oh, there's a question. Good. Let's ask.
Good question. You ready? Monica, what do you think of angel numbers flashing randomly? 1010, 111 flashing on your watches. I see them often. They're supposed to be a sign that we're not alone. That is a message from loved ones who have passed. Is that true?
Mm. So, angel numbers have gained popularity over the last maybe 10, 15 years or so. We're
Mhm.
seeing this a lot. And
She said
it's
it's
not
Venta, by the way.
Vinta,
Venta.
yes. Hi, Vinta. Yes, yes. So yes, it's been more and more popular over the last, I would say, 15 years, 20 years, even more so, even in the more recent past. Um, and yes, there is something to say about those repetitive numbers that
Mhm.
we see. And some people are seeing, 10, 10, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, like the binary numbers. And I'll share something from a personal experience here. I've been seeing for the last, I would say, 15 years, 16 years, always ascending numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And there's a running joke between my son and me. And every time I see that number, I snapshot it and I send it to my son, my younger son, and he always, kids, we always have this inside joke going on. But back to your question, Vinta, I had to share this story. But back to your question about are these messages that are indicative of the fact that we are not alone? Yes, that's true. Um, Not necessarily that they have come, that they're coming from people who have passed on. What I understand it is that these are messages that are coming to us to keep us on this path of growth. It is simply letting us know that we are ascending as a human race. We talked about this in the beginning of the session, and it's all about our growth. And are we, and for them to tell us, them meaning not loved ones necessarily, but angels, higher energies, informing us that they are watching us, that they're listening to us, and
Mhm.
they want us to continue on this journey. So, Pinta, I suppose you are also heading along this spiritual growth. I hope that you're listening to the, suggestions that are coming through and paying more attention to yourself and all of that. Yeah, these are all very important for everybody to really, really spend more time within.
She said, "Hi, Monica and Wendy and everyone." I've been
Oh, that's sweet.
glad
Thank
you're
you.
here.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. No, this, so yes, pay attention to numbers,
Hmm.
pay attention to birds. If you see some,
Oh yeah.
yeah. These are signals or signals. These are signals. Um, these are messages. We need to pay attention to them. So birds, if you see license plates, sometimes you see
Oh,
license
Oracle
plates.
Parkway, right?
Huh?
Oracle Parkway. Sometimes,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's coming
Oracle.
you off.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Pay attention to everything. So the more we are open, right? We talked about being open. So the more we are open, the more we begin to see these signs and signals that are existing everywhere. And we'll see more and more of these things. These are just indicators that we are on the right path.
Yeah. They say
Just giving us a,
see your birthday. If you see your birthday, like if you're born May 1st. So if you
yeah,
see 0501,
yeah,
that too. I'm a CPA, so I love numbers.
numbers.
But it is interesting because I see I'm in that field so much,
Yeah.
the patterns of numbers and how
Yeah,
you're
there's so
fascinating.
much of, there's so many things that we oftentimes don't pay attention to, especially out in nature, like through birds. And I'll share a very funny example. This is really funny. But as I mentioned earlier, certain cultures have always known about these occurrences. Our ancestors lived with it prior to our coming in this lifetime. They were always open, and we are now heading in that direction. We're also becoming more open. So I'll share an example, a funny story, and this the people that are listening to this live from India, you definitely will be able to relate to it. So I remember when I was growing up in India years ago. Anytime we would be walking, and if a crow would drop its droppings on us, and it would happen fairly frequently. I remember my mom would say, "Oh, that's good luck," you know, and others would say, "How could that be good luck when it's messed up your clothes and you're heading out to go to college or to work or something, and this big dropping, this big poop is on your body?" And my mom would say, "That's good luck." So you're looking at these things and you're making something from it, But the fact that it did that, maybe it was a message. Could
Yeah.
it be a message? Stop, pause, pay attention,
Yeah.
you know? So we've
I
got
know
to
so
listen to
many times
it.
my grandmother would have the best advice. I mean, we didn't have Google back then, and I would
Mhm.
just call, we were talking about yesterday, we would just call her and she would tell us what to do and it worked. I mean, now I feel like we're just kind of like, science is great,
Yeah,
but it's like taking us in that other direction where we're
yeah.
not trusting ourselves or paying attention to what's going on. It can be kind of paralyzing sometimes, I
It
think.
can be paralyzing. And that's the other reason why energies always say we've got to spend time alone without any distractions, without any phones or, listening to music, because I think that also can, contribute in our being led astray. because we don't pay attention to our own intuition. It
Yeah.
exists, we all have it, but we oftentimes second guess it, or we don't even pay attention to it. It's like that, the waterfall. It's already there, but we're not we're not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
That's where it is. It's about
Yeah.
us, our openness.
And it's so much more fun. Like this was years ago because I've always been intuitive, but I could go to work and I could pull up my calendar and I could almost like I could tell you who was going to cancel. It was almost like I could see it rearrange
Yeah,
before it even happened.
before it happens. Yeah,
It was just like and then so when they called, it was like it saved so much time because I
it
already knew.
does.
Yeah, already knew they were going to cancel. Already knew why they were calling.
Yes, and I
Yeah, but
think there's so
it's
many have
so
that.
in tune. You're just in tune.
You're in
And
tune,
I
and I
thought
think most
everyone
people
was
are.
like that.
Huh?
I thought everyone worked like that.
I
And then,
did, and they are. They're just not listening to it, but they are. And a lot of the times they're doing it unconsciously.
yeah,
If you later, if you share your own examples with them, they'll be like, yeah, I think I do it too. Or yeah, I think, yes, I think they're doing it not knowing that they're doing it, or
yeah,
sometimes it's happening, but they're not paying attention to it.
hmm,
With this type of work, what it does is makes you be more aware. It just helps you become more aware. Pay attention to those numbers, just like Vinta mentioned earlier.
yeah,
1011111001, and others, and like 1234, or there are so many other numbers out there that may have specific meanings to them. But the best way to see it is to uh, not to try to make too much sense of it.
hmm,
Become aware of it, definitely,
yeah,
but try not to read too much into it as to what it does it mean, or because then again you're going back into the mind, and the mind is already analyzing it too much. So
yeah,
paying attention should give you this feeling that I'm being watched, that whatever I'm doing thus far, I'm that there is not just validation, but there's support. Maybe
hmm,
that there's support, and I'm being watched,
yeah,
and that I should just continue with whatever it is I'm doing. um, I remember this was an example about a few months ago. I think it was like last year. Somebody I work with regularly mentioned that she left. She was walking out somewhere, and um, a bird. She didn't know what breed of bird it was, but a bird hit against a window, and the dead bird or the hurt bird fell directly on her,
oh
and it
God,
scared her. It startled her, and she reached out in the middle of the late night or late evening. She reached out and said, I tried to shake it away from me, but I don't know what that means. Could you ask the energies and tell me what it means? And all I was told to tell her was that um, that particular bird, she doesn't know the breed, but energies were saying that that particular bird, rather, was telling her that she's got to stop whatever it is that she's doing. It's like a pause,
hmm,
stop,
hmm,
pay attention to
hmm,
get outside of her lane, that lane that she was stuck in, like a tunnel vision, to get out of that tunnel and appreciate everything around her,
yeah,
and feeling that expands more, you know. And
hmm,
then after that, what happened was she then ended up, different things. She just got pulled into so many different directions that, excuse me, she wasn't able to fully, embrace this message fully. But then, you know, things happened later. But then she came back and she's like, okay, I think I'm ready to, deepen this awareness of where I'm supposed to go. Because I think when we all get busy, we just get so locked in to this narrow vision,
hmm,
and oftentimes these messages will come through to say, you don't need to know a lot about it, but just simply that you need to get out of this zone that you're in, and you just need to be
yeah,
more open. Yeah. So it's always about being open. It's always about opening more, getting out of that myopic lens.
yeah, yeah. Being more aware. Yeah. Monica, Oh, go ahead.
I think she has another
Okay. She said,
message.
I somehow see these angel numbers on my watch more on conflicting or difficult days. What does that indicate?
No.
Yeah.
So, yes, so very similar to what I just shared earlier about the this other person who had this bird, hit against a window, get hurt, and then fall directly on her body. It's literally to say, stop, pause, stop and pause, go inward, stop and pause, and go inward, and open up more.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. On difficult days, maybe your mind is, sidetracked a bit. Maybe you are um, being distracted. Maybe those numbers are indications that you need to be more inward focused
Mm-hmm.
and not so much out there. You're doing too much out there, you know. We all tend to do that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's easier to be focused on the outside world than being inside because people are sometimes afraid, is what I've been told to go inside. Sometimes they're afraid because they don't know what they're going to find and they're worried. And what we say is, but you're going to find beauty in there. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to find mystery in there. And you want to be in there more because you don't know what is ready to be, to be revealed. And you'll only know that when you go down deep within and you're quiet and calm. So finding those calm, quiet days, we're voting for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Monica, do you want to lead us into, do you want to do 5 minutes? Let's do
I'll do
5 minutes.
5 minutes. I'm sorry we spoke
That's
on
okay.
for quite a bit, but yes, let's do 5 minutes. So, yes, we were going with a few instructions very quick. First thing is if you're seated up, that's fine. Then make sure, please, your feet are touching the floor, legs are uncrossed, and your body is relaxed. If you're able to lie down, that would be even better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just relax your body, just feel your body relaxing. If your eyes have been opened, then you slowly want to bring your focus, maybe a soft focus, on a space in front of you somewhere. Okay. And then watch your eyes closing, slowly closing. Good. Very good. Now, slowly bring your awareness from the outside world, from the room outside you, and slowly bring your awareness in within. You may be wondering if you're doing it correctly. Simply, you're bringing your inner awareness from the outside, slowly diving inside, going into the body. Doesn't matter where, just going inside the body. Now, you will begin the breathing slow and deep. You are already breathing. You're simply going to shift that breathing from breathing in and out. You're going to use your nostrils to inhale. Feel the belly rising up as you're inhaling. Notice this beautiful energy coming up and rising up into your scalp. And slowly, as you exhale your breath, you're going to release that breath, feeling all the negativities that you've been carrying with you, heaviness that you're bringing with you. Imagine that heaviness simply being dropped down into your body. From the mind, it slowly starts to come down, and you're going to exhale your breath. And if you like, you can make the sound, just like a quick, like that. Good. Good. You're just going to release the breath. You're only doing it once. You're going to release that breath fully and letting it go deep into the earth. You're just going to feel the energy getting locked in underneath your feet as if it's collecting down. And now take another slow inhale. Feel the belly rising up as you're inhaling, beautiful energy rising up into your scalp. Slowly, as you're releasing the breath, you're exhaling. Releasing the breath like that, fully exhaling, letting go. So now your left foot may feel a little bit dense or heavy. Left foot may feel a little dense or heavy. It may feel as if something is clogging there. You're feeling it on both feet, but the left leg and the left foot feels a little bit more. So now Those of you that are not on Zoom and not here, not on this platform, not on this platform, not just Zoom, but not even here, not on YouTube, you're going to feel this energy as if it's coming down beneath your feet. You're going to feel this coming down your feet, down, 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 down into your feet, and it's going to collect down like a pool of water. So imagine that all of the denser energies are coming down from your body. Now it's coming from your scalp, and you will start to feel some vibrations or tingling sensations, something happening in your right and left thigh, both sides, right thigh and left thigh, right thigh and left thigh. Just feel the sensations, tingling sensations. If you don't feel anything, don't worry about it. It just is happening. What it's doing is that it's shifting some of those heavier energies. So there's also a like a collection, like a clustering of energy happening in your right and left hip, and also right and left shoulder. Also, we're feeling something in the throat energetic center. So the throat chakra, we're also feeling it in the right and left hip, and then in your shoulder, right and left shoulder. Now, what it's doing is that it is compressing as if two hands are one on the right side of the shoulder and one on the left side of the shoulder. As if somebody, it's not happening physically, you're going to feel it on a very intuitive basis. But when it's happening, you will feel a lot of vibrations now in your chest, in your lungs. It's going down into your abdomen, into your solar plexus, down into your sacrum. And just feel this energy. Your breathing is ongoing. Your breathing doesn't stop. You're inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful divine light is coming in through your nostrils and going up into your scalp. Now we're already channeling. So this is something is unique energy. You feel a lot of it vibrating. And even if you're not here today on YouTube, you're not here, you may be listening to it later, you will still be feeling these sensations, these energies. And what's happening is this sensation of as if water is boiling. You might feel this sensation as if water is boiling in a stainless steel pot, like a saucepan, and water is boiling. So, water boils, it comes first toward the edging, the inner edging of that pot. You see these bubbles scattered around that inner walls of that pot. And then you will see something happening in the center of the water, in the center part of it, and it starts to bubble. It's bubbling, bubbling, bubbling. That bubbling is happening so rapidly and so fast that slowly it begins to rise up. Steam, yes, steam, just like that. Steam is rising up. Liquid, like liquid turning into steam, is rising up. You're going to feel that energy coming up. It's going to go into the right and left shoulder. It's going to go into the complete spinal column, all the way down to the base of your spine. And it's going to start to escape from there and go down into your feet. You're going to feel a lot of the vibration sensations in your feet. If you don't feel it completely, don't worry about it, please. If you're not feeling the sensations, please do not worry. Just know it's happening. It is happening. Sometimes people have to be more sensitized to it. The more we do this work, the more you become sensitized to it, more open. You become more open. Your heart starts to open, your chest starts to open, your lungs start to open. You're also feeling something else opening up in your base of your spine and also in your throat. Your throat energy center says, yes, I'm ready to open. So does your solar plexus says, yes, I'm ready to open. And then your sacrum is also trying to open. And as it opens up, it's almost like there's this open communication happening between all of these energetic centers, from sacrum to solar plexus to heart, heart to throat. You can feel it all now as if it's this backward flow, inward, outward, upward, downward, this inward, outward flow. That same energy is going outside of your body now as if it's overflowing, just like the water was boiling and you felt the steam rising up to the pot and going up, except now this energy is going beyond up. It's going beyond your scalp and above. It's going around it. So it's up and it's down and it's right and left, just like the divine energy. It's all around you. It's all the time there. It's above your head, it's beneath your body, right and left, and an oblique line coming from the right to the left and left to the right. These energies are all of which are coming together, and it's really, really helping you lift up and open up and free yourself from the old attachments. Where are we attached? So every time you're breathing naturally and normally, this awareness is coming through is, where do I feel stuck? What are the areas in my life that I'm feeling stuck? Is my mind keeping me stuck? Is my ego resisting? What is happening within my body? Am I holding my body tight? Am I mad? Am I operating from a space of upset and anger? Do I feel sometimes like an imposter? Do I have an imposter syndrome going along? Do I feel stuck? Am I feeling like I'm riddled by anger? Or am I judging somebody? Am I judging myself too much? All of these are conversations that we sometimes have with ourselves, within ourselves. But the divine energy comes and says, leave here, leave this here, drop it down here. So as if down beneath your feet, there is a inverted funnel, like a large, massive funnel. The narrow end of the funnel is going into the earth, and the wide end of the funnel is upward, is raising upward, and is as if your body is into it. It's like the calyx of a flower, just like that, as if we are sitting, our body is sitting and resting into the calyx of a flower, like that funnel, like that. It's opening up, and our body is resting into it, completely embraced with this loving divine energy. And it rises. The calyx is not just holding our lower body, but it's rising up, up, up. You can feel it going up, like a beautiful space that holds us all intact. We're never alone, right? This energy is now confirming that, clarifying to us we are never alone. This energy is holding us intact. So now anything that we're hanging on to, any heavy weights, any load, any aches, pains, anger, distress, old things that we may have done to somebody else and somebody else might have done to us. Let go of that energy. We don't need to hang on to it anymore. So now, from that calyx, from the inverted funnel, from the funnel, you're noticing that funnel, slowly from the funnel, there's a vibrating energy in it, and it's coming up and it's lifting your body up from your base of your spine. You're being lifted up, rising higher and higher and higher. You'll see bright colors now. These colors are like magenta and mauve, and you see bright blues and deeper colors. And they're rising up, 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 up. You can feel it going up, up. And yes, your breath is ongoing, and you're feeling this blue light rising up, blue and violet light coming up, 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 all the way up to your scalp. And it goes above your scalp and goes up above, and you just let it go. It's going to go there. It's going to go somewhere into the top place, and you feel something, vibrations in your top of your scalp. If you don't feel the vibrations, please don't worry. You'll feel it later. Some of you are feeling it now, and some others will feel it much later. Don't worry. It's all there. So now what is happening is, in your breath, through your breath, as you inhale, positive energies are coming in, and as you exhale, all the energies that you don't need anymore, that is being flushed out. And where is it going? It's going into the atmosphere. It's getting suctioned out as if the most powerful vacuum cleaner has come in and sucked it out, suctioned it out, and it's released, and it's gone. You will start to feel lighter if you haven't already. Your body will start to feel lighter. The colors are becoming more subdued, more pastel-like, more subdued, more light into it, more infused light, and your body starts to rest. Your shoulders are relaxing, your neck is relaxing, your spine is relaxing, noticing the spine relaxing, the base of your spine is relaxing, your abdomen is relaxing, your chest is relaxing, your lungs are relaxing, your hip is relaxing, both sides, and definitely your glutes. Letting just be observing yourself. The breath is ongoing. Just going to let go, relax. Feel the relaxation. Feeling the energy coming from the bottom up, from the top down, as if they're meeting into the heart, and the heart starts to open up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. offer deep gratitude to the divine energies. We thank the divine energies for their presence, for this opening, and we will wait until we receive more energy post this session as well. When you're back in your own space at night, when you rest, it's morning for you, and you are ready to move on with the rest of the morning and the day. You'll start to feel lighter and lighter as you keep moving along, and more centered and more balanced and more open. Your heart is more open. And as you continue with this work and other spiritual growth, you will start to feel like you already have a head start. And with greater trust, with greater faith, and a greater knowing, yeah, opening up your intuitions as well, opening you up to become more aware of it, listening to it more, paying attention to it more, becoming more in tune with your loved ones, becoming more in tune with your friends and others, your work colleagues, and appreciating the divinity that you hold within you. The same divinity exists in the souls that are surrounding you as well. So we are just opening up that space so that we can feel each other more, sense each other more, appreciate each other more, and not hold a grudge and let go. Let go and relax. Returning back to ground zero. The deepest blessings and unconditional love and endless blessings to each one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may now slowly begin to awaken yourself by feeling your body first, and then wriggling your fingers, and just rolling your toes inward and moving your toes if you like. And if you feel the need to do so, you can outstretch your arms, stretch it fully. So you do when you just wake up in the morning, just like that. If you need to flex your feet, you can do that as well. And then give a full exhale. Ah, ah, ah. And now you may fully open your eyes and just smile a little. Feel your face stretching and opening, feeling the joy within, the bliss, joy, calmness, balance, peace. And yes, and you may now open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back, Monica.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I'm a little bit over time, but
That's okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What a beautiful way to end. If anyone wants to share anything from the meditation, pop it in the chat. We'll see if we get anything coming through. But thank you again.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for asking questions, and thank you all for listening. Those that are here right now, but those that will listen to it later as well. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.